Hi, I'm Phyllis from iSew in the doll corner, and today I'm going to talk about nude dolls. We have all kinds of them lying around in different places. You go to the secondhand stores and there's a pile of undressed dolls there, and some of them have something on, but most times they don't have anything on. So I thought maybe I would, and I know in toy boxes there's an awful lot of undressed dolls. So if you don't have any clothes for your dolls, it's not hard to make them. But before we get into that, I want to ask you to subscribe to my channel, touch the bell to be notified, and check out my Etsy shop for my doll patterns. And we're going to show you how to make a quick and easy pair of panties for your doll, and different ways of making them. And if you have any kind of a scrap of material, we'll make them. You can make them any color, any size you want. And this is my pattern that I have taken from my pattern book. And this is a piece of lining that I cut and pair, but those are a little too large, so I don't want those. But I cut this one out of this is t-shirt material. And you could make a lot of panties out of an old t-shirt, maybe that had got a stain or a hole in it and you're not wearing any longer. Just take and serge or use a cover stitch around the leg holes. If you're serging it, you can put your elastic in at the same time. If you don't have a serger or you don't have a cover stitch on your sewing machine, you can merely turn it in and make a casing and run your elastic through that way. You can add a piece of lace along the side. I like to make sure I do all my sewing around the edges of my legs before I sew up the side seam. So I used a blue elastic so it shows up, and I just used a triple zigzag to go along there. I took my elastic, the length I wanted it, I make it a little bit longer, and I've cut this off, but something like, yeah, like this. So I've got something to hold when I put it under my pressure foot. And it makes it easier to get it started sometimes. So I sew the elastic on the one. And if I want some lace on there, I'll put it on it this time as well. And then I sew up this side seam. And then I do along the top of the panty. So it's open, it's easy to do. And I put the elastic on the same way as I did on the legs. I take the length I need, fold it in half, and put a pin at the side seam here and stretch it across. And so just sew straight across. So that only takes minutes. This is a pair that I did with just using casings for the legs and for the top. So that was easy enough to do too. So this is let's see, a lace pair of panties. This has got some stretch to it. It's not as much stretch as I would really like, but it's okay. You can work around that. I try to center it. I have this little flower here, or I take the center here, but this, and then I just cut this out the way I want it, and finish the leg the same way as I would any other fabric. Then sew up this side seam, and as I said, these ones didn't have, see, this is my little end where I left longer so that I could hold it. What was it? Oh yeah, this pair, the elastic isn't strong enough to hold it, and the doll that I'm making for has a real tiny little waist, so and big hips, so I needed anyway, just didn't. So I took a piece of elastic and just sewed it across the top. I didn't have to finish the edges because they're already finished. So that'll make a cute little pair of panties. And this is another pair that I made with where am I getting the wrong end? Here we are. I measured how much I needed to go around her bottom, and that with a bit of a stretch so it would fit her waist. And then just sewed across here and cut this off. And then folded this back like this. And took a few stitches in the center to form the crotch. And I have these little panties. And it only took seconds really. So my seam is down the back. And so if you have some little dolls and want some little panties, that's the way to do it. And now I have this pair. And this is the kind of elastic that I really like for making panties. I haven't been able to find it lately. And all I have left is red. So, but there's good stretch to this. So and it just covers up the surging seams on the leg and the waistband. And now this pair isn't made for this doll, so they're a little bit big, but that's all right. She's just modeling them, so, but they're cute. Now this doll, she needs a dress. And if you're not into sewing a lot, or you want to get your dolls with some clothes on in a hurry, take a circle of fabric. Measure from the neck down to whatever length you want it. Draw a circle. Or just fold it in quarters and measure the length from here and mark it, and then cut it off. And then cut just the tip off the top of the triangle. Just a little bit there. It stretches a little bit, so you want to be careful you don't make it too big. Now this one has a fairly big head, so I just clipped it down a little bit at the back, and that makes a V in the back of the neck. And then for the armholes, I measured out what width her shoulders is, and I made just a little V in here and on this side. and the dress is ready to go. Now you see this makes a nice V down the back of her dress. Tie a ribbon around. And there's your dress. And just adjust it. Now you want to make sure it's not a fabric that will fray. If you have a knit or something like that, that works really well because they won't fray. Now you can put all kinds of trim on them. You could glue a little bit of trim, rickrack, lace, whatever, or it's not necessary. But if you're making a quick dress, now she looks so much better dressed than with no clothes on. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share my video, and thanks for watching. Bye now.